Well, good morning. Welcome to my video and thanks for joining me at Anspace. Yes, this is a metro station. I arrived in Barcelona last night and I've got 6 days, I think it is, here that I'm going to explore. Now the weather's a bit varied, so maybe today will be a museum day. Anyway, come with me and we'll jump on the metro and see where we end up. So stick around. So I thought Madrid was busy, but this is upper level for sure. Just got off the metro and it's not raining here, which is fantastic. So my first stop for the day is the Museum of Contemporary Art, and it's another bonus being over 65 because free entry. How good is that? So I always struggle a little bit with contemporary art. I come and look at it and I try and put logics to it, which is how my mind works, and I don't succeed in deciding whether I like it, enjoy it, or whether it's a waste of time. I sort of come away bemused, and yet I'll go again to another contemporary gallery. So this is just one piece I thought was quite interesting. It is so funny, as I wander around, I keep subconsciously or consciously hearing myself go, and yeah, I'm like, I don't really understand this art, but should I understand it? Or is it just art from the artist's perspective? Who knows? So I continue to go, So I think one of the coolest things about this gallery is actually the building itself. It's very simple. There's lots of different entrances and exits of each gallery. And yeah, I love the simplicity of it. So that'll be my takeaway, is the building's worth coming to. As for the art, yes, very bemused. I sat out outside the gallery just to have a snack and watch these people on their boards. I felt really good, and it was fun just to sort of be part of the scenery and just blend in and watch them. The Contemporary Art Gallery is a really interesting area, so I just did some videoing of the people doing the skateboarding outside the museum, but this area itself is just fascinating. It's I don't think I'd want to come down here at night, but certainly interesting during the day. So I love it when I find a cafe that's funky, cool, has good food, and it's not super expensive. And I found that in the Raval area, which in itself, see my photos, is really worth looking at and wandering around. But this cafe is called Morning Glory, and yeah, I'm giving them a plug, but I'm not getting any money. I'll just get good food, which is really great. And just so you can see that I wasn't lying, look at this food, hummus on toast, the biggest cup of coffee I've had since I've been travelling, and yeah, a cookie to follow. Yes, little self-indulgent, but why not? So I've been having trouble finding some of these places that I read about on my map, and this is one of them. This is a Saint Paul de Camp, and it's a church, but because so many maps have English and others have Spanish, it's really quite difficult to find places, and often it can be a del or a D. So yeah, I'm pleased to have found this. It looks like a really interesting old building. I'm not sure if I can get inside, but it's just around the corner from that great little cafe that I just went to. Oh, and look at that. It's got the scallop shell, and I saw so many of those when I did the Camino. And if you haven't seen my videos with me doing the Camino, the Portuguese Camino and the Museu Festera Caminos, go back and have a look, because I had a wonderful time my first 2 Caminos, and there will be more, I promise you. Such an interesting city to wander around, and this is my only my first day. I've got so many days here. Yeah, all the graffiti, but a lot of it's graffiti, what I call graffiti art. So I just checked with this guy and he's okay with me taking photos. So yeah, it's a work in progress, this one. thought I would see some boab trees. And look at the flowers. I don't think I've ever seen boabs in flower before, but they're really cool. And I'm just on my way to the waterfront, so it's really busy down here. A totally different vibe from the La Ramba area that I was walking around in before. Okay, New Zealand friends, here's one for you. Down on the waterfront in Barcelona. Over there is a Giganta shopping mall, and there's that pedestrian walkway to get to it. So that's where I'm heading. While the rain holds off, I'm doing my wandering around outside. But yeah, it's actually quite a nice area, but look at this for my Aussie friends now, thinking about the Australians. No guardrail. So I've come into the Parc de la Ciutadella, which is right next to the zoo. In fact, the zoo is within this park. And there's some quite interesting old buildings. But I like the spout coming down over there. Gotta love the drainage. So I got a bit distracted with those really funny, cute spouts, but I've actually come to the front of the building now, and it was actually a school in the early 1930s. So what it's used for now, who only knows, but yeah, this park is actually quite big. I'm fortunate a lot of it's fenced off. It's like everywhere, there's renovations going on, but there's some really lovely buildings here. And I've just spotted a sculpture down one of these aisles, so I'm going to go and check that out. But yeah, as you can see, the sky is beautiful and blue at the moment, and I'm still really enjoying travelling in the autumn. Yeah, it's a Saturday, and so we've got not only the tourists here, but a lot of the local people really enjoying their park on a nice Saturday afternoon. So the park continues. Oh, quite impressive. So many people down here. Well, a couple of days ago when I was in Madrid, the glass house was under reconstruction, I guess you'd say. It was hardly repairs, but this one looks almost as old and it's all open, so I might just go and have a look inside. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a double-winged glass house, and certainly not particularly warm because everything's wide open. But yeah, it's nice that they've got this area and that it's just free for the public to come in and wander around. In fact, today has been a free day. I haven't spent any money apart from that great cafe that I went to. So I'm leaving that area of the park now and going through Barcelona's Arc de Triomphe. So there you go. There seems to be a few of those around the world, right? So Anton Gaudi, an architect here in Barcelona, designed some really unusual houses or buildings, and this is just one of them. And yeah, it's very late in the day, so it's a little dark, but I'm glad I sourced it out. So I'm going to go over and see if I can get even some closer up pictures of it, hopefully. And this whole street, just where this Gaudi building is, or 40, is really cool. I mean, look at that with all the, I don't know what they're called, but yeah, it's certainly a busy time of the night. There's a lot of people here, but it's actually a good time to photograph this building with the rooms lit up. How cool is that? And now that I've come closer, there's actually the building next door as well. Very cool. Well, good morning. Here am I outside my hostel on a wet day in Barcelona. But it's the perfect day for it to be wet because it's the first Sunday of the month. And what that means in Barcelona is a lot of the museums are free. Guess where I'm going today? Yes, I've got my coat on. The rain's not too hard and it's not too cold. So yeah, welcome to my wandering around in Barcelona in the rain. And look how steep this street is. Oh my God, it was a killer when I arrived with my packs. Anyway, come on, let's go enjoy Barcelona while we can. Last night I went and saw an Antoni Gaudí house or building, and here's another one, and no less sensational. Very cool. And this is the view down the side. Definitely the Moroccan theme, that's for sure. And I'll put the year that these buildings were designed somewhere on this video. So today I'm not going to go in and have a look at the building. I just checked the price. It's not included in the free Sunday museum tickets. And the price to go into this building, €22. So that's about 35 to 40 Australian dollars. So no, I don't think I'll do that. I'll go and find some other museums that I can go into. Well, Barcelona is a difficult city. You know why it's difficult? Because it's got so many laneways and so many amazing buildings. It's just so difficult to video them. Okay, let me turn you around and see if I can get a better shot. Okay, I'll start with this view. That's pretty nice, right? And we even have palm trees or maybe date trees. But then this building here, this is another museum, Museum Catalana. That's this district is Catalana. So really hard to get a video. But that will just give you a general idea. And they do tours. And I'm not sure if this is in the free museum list or not. But I'll go and check it out. And even though I'm not doing the tour, I'll give you a little glimpse of inside. So, not quite sure of this name. Not the name, the history of this building. But yeah, isn't it amazing? So it's a palace, or was a palace, and now it's a theatre. So it would be brilliant to come and watch a show, but I'm sure it would cost an arm and a leg. So these are definitely the places I like to find. I'll go and have a look. So definitely my kind of gallery. Not only is it free, but I'm allowed to take photos, and there's some great art, which I will share with you as I walk around. And such a mixture. There you go. Darcy, I think you'll like that one. So this is Art in Trash, and it's a new artist to the gallery, and yep, these are all skateboards. Look at this. Like, wow, the work in that. And yep, there's a few others that I really like as well. Like this one. So I just took a screenshot, the history of the artist with this recycled, and yeah, I was just talking to the curator, and he was saying that all of this work is totally by hand. There's no laser cutting at all. So, you know, from basically this broken skateboards to this art. I mean, yeah, definitely look them up. I'll put the photo that I just took about the artist in this video. And here's one for my Australian watchers, or viewers I should call you. Sorry, you're not a watcher. So, yep, it's another free museum. So this is the museum. Yeah, I can't quite read that, but it's in Spanish. Okay, so this is Museum of Cultures. So it couldn't be more different from the Modern Art Museum that I went to, but this display is turning everyday items into art pieces. So yeah, it's quite interesting, that's for sure. And through the mesh. So this cultural museum not only has some interesting stuff, it's actually a really cool building. Most of the rooms have curved ceilings, so they were like tunnels, I guess. So I walked through the African section with lots of masks, and here's more masks, and this is actually the Asian section, and yeah, some beautiful totems. Yeah, like I was saying, this building itself is pretty cool. The ceiling. So the area I've come into now is called the Gothic Quarter. Yeah, it's just as busy as everywhere else. And there's a few more museums in here, so I'm just going to wander. I've got a general direction, but if I see something of interest, I sort of turn left or right. So it's a fun way to spend the day. And it's amazing what you see. You can certainly see why this is called the Gothic area, because look at this building here. How could you get more Gothic than this? And so it continues around the building. And yes, I can hear some music, can you? Let's go and see if we can find it. Gargoyles, maybe? Oh, and look up here. I don't know if you've watched my video from when I was in Dresden. So for me, that's about 5 months ago. Not quite sure how many videos since then. But I learned about graffiti, where they paint the wall, then they scrape it off. And I believe that this is the same. But this is where the music's coming from. Those bells are coming from, but they sound pretty cool. So, like all the European cities that I've been to, this has a number of different squares. This is St. John Square, and yeah, those bells are still going, and I still don't know where they're coming from. So that is a palace there. The General Litat, whatever that is, it's got a guard, so it must be an important building. So one thing I noticed last night when I was looking at a printed map was a lot of Barcelona is very grid for the streets, but then you come into the Gothic Quarter and very many twisted lanes and nothing was straight at all, which is not like the normal Roman approach. The Roman road structure was normally very straight roads. As I was walking around, I stumbled across this shoe shop. Now, what drew my attention was the fact that they were all handmade. I mean, look at those. I'm sure my grandchildren would like some things in this shop. And yeah, the girls in the shop were even hand painting. They were quite happy for me to take film of their shoes. Yeah, I like those ones. And of them actually doing the painting. So really cool. So again, I've got the same problem that I can't get back far enough. Look at this building. And I have to do it at an angle. I really hate that. I don't know how I can solve that issue. There must be a way of doing videoing on my phone and to get the wide angle. So I'm loving these buildings. They're just like so ornate, and the history of them. I don't know the history. There's just, yeah, it seems like they're just used for the graffiti. So it'd be really interesting to know where it all comes from, how long it's been here, etc. So this is the Santa Monica Museum. I have no idea the theme, but I'm sure we all females remember these little dress-up dolls that we used to have. So a bit like yesterday, this is really contemporary art, but I feel like I'm part of the art. Like as I'm walking around, I'm walking through the pieces, and I actually really like this. It's very cool. And once again, it's an absolutely awesome building. So many cool buildings in this city, and they've certainly put them all to use. These museums are definitely quirky, and I really like them. Like, what do you do with all the doilies that were made so long ago? Well, this has certainly been one of the most unusual museums that I have been into. It's Santa Monica. And like I said, I felt like I was part of the art. I was confused by it, but I actually found it really thoughtful. Some of it I couldn't read, it was in Spanish, but others was in English. So yeah, if you want to know more about the Santa Monica Museum, I suggest you Google it, because I actually can't give you any more information at this stage. So I took a video in the dark from the balcony of the hostel, and here's one in the daylight. So yeah, quite an extensive view right down the street. Like I've already mentioned, the streets in Barcelona are predominantly grid-based. So here's the little balcony, which is quite nice, and then up the hill the other way. Yeah, definitely very steep. Well, good morning. It's a very wet day here in Barcelona. So I'm going to catch a train out to a place called Girona. Hopefully it is drier out there than it is in Barcelona. I think it's about 45 minutes, but I've got to get the metro first. So today I was going to go to Girona, which is about 45 minutes, as I previously mentioned. But when I got to the railway station, the machines were not working. You had to line up at one of their service centres. Well, I've had experience with Renfe service centres before and waited nearly 2 hours, and I thought, nah, not going to do that. And then I thought, while I'm there, I'll inquire about the trains to the airport where I'm leaving on Thursday. Well, actually, the trains aren't running today due to the poor weather. And I'm like, oh, imagine if that was Thursday and I was on my way to get the train. So anyway, I thought, well, what are the other alternatives? So I sussed out that there was a bus that goes to Catalunya every 20 minutes. It's only €7.35, and there's heaps of buses, and they're these blue ones. So if you're ever in Barcelona and it's a wet day, certainly check out the buses, because it's right near the Catalunya, however you pronounce it, metro station, and yeah, no matter the weather, it's going to get you to the airport. Anyway, enough talking. I'm going to see what else there is to do, because as you can see, it's temporarily stopped raining, but there is still thunder. So I photographed a few of these buildings by Goldie, the architect, and here's another one. It's a little grey day, but I think it'll come out okay. It's so cool and so ornate. And right on a very busy street corner at Catalunya. So this is another building by the architect Gaudi. This is the Sagrada Familia, or Sagrada Family building, and it's the longest unfinished building, or a longest unfinished cathedral. I'm not quite sure. I think it's 20 or 30 years that they've been building it, and yeah, still not finished. So I know other cathedrals took hundreds of years, so I'm not quite sure how this one has got that label, but it's the same Gaudi sort of theme with the flowers and so forth. So I always like playing with photography, so I thought that was quite a fun shot because there's the building. So it really is quite a fascinating building, but will I pay over €20 to go and have a look around it? No, I don't think so. And it certainly wasn't in the free museums from yesterday. So what are my thoughts on this Sagrada Familia building? Well, I think the city is very savvy. They had this architect design this large building with lots of features. They've put it on top of a hill. They've put in lots of restaurants, lots of cafes, lots of other souvenir shops. And so it's attracting all these people. And it's just an absolute money spinner. But I love it, because just the cheekiness of it. Like, who would have thought? Now, that's just my opinion. I've not read that anywhere. So, yeah. I might be totally wrong, but I think it's very fun to have something like this in such a big city that people come to anyway. It's not the reason why people come, but it certainly is the why people come up to this hill. Because, well, there's not such a crowd here. But round the corner where the ho-ho buses were, there was a huge crowd. So here's more of the crowd, and this is the other side of the building. So this is actually quite different to the side that I came in on first. This looks a lot older. So if I remember, I'll put some dates in when it started being built, and if there's even any idea when it might finish being built. It is quite cool. It's quite interesting. So a bit of a background here. This was designed by Gaudi in 1882, and they started building this basilica 135 years ago. So that's why they're taking the claim of being the oldest. But I remember in Budapest how that cathedral actually took 500 years to build. So, yeah, certainly not the oldest. Maybe the oldest in Spain. I keep noticing different little features, so I have to keep filming them. Sorry, there's a lot of footage on this, I know, but hey, it's pretty unique. So it's not all about the old and the weird, unusual buildings in Barcelona. There is some modern ones as well, like these two. And that one on the right there, that is actually very much like the theatre that I had a look at in Porto. And yeah, you can see this whole area is fenced off. There's that tram, but there's no other cars, so it's a whole redevelopment area. And I'm just wandering today, this whole new area. Look at all the new buildings, even the ones that look old and new. So yeah, still in the same area, and I just thought I'd take a quick video of these lines. So this is where that tram came along. But don't you just love that it's all this, I want to call it grass, but it's not really grass, it's a plant down there. And it's just so much nicer than like here with all the concrete. Pretty cool, and I love the way they're designing this whole new area. So after all my wandering around looking at various buildings, I worked my way down to the beach. And yeah, I mean, I imagine on a nice day there'd be people swimming, but it's so nice to have this whole big beach area. And it's the marina that I looked at the other day was down there. But there's a lot of cafes and restaurants and all sorts of things down here. So I imagine in summer it is actually really busy. So I'm getting really used to catching the metros in Barcelona, but also in lots of other cities. And I don't have any trouble. It's not, it's always well signposted. So yeah, it's fun. as you can see from this video, Barcelona has a lot to offer, so much so that I'm actually going to break this down into 2 videos. So I hope you enjoyed the first part of my time in Barcelona, and until next time, bye for now.